Hello there, my beautiful radiant Leo souls, and welcome back to Cosmic Wisdom, the sacred space where we explore the grand tapestry of the universe and discover how its golden threads are woven directly into the fabric of your magnificent life. I am your guide, and if you have found your way here today, I know it is because your powerful heart, that great and glorious sun that beats within your chest, has sensed a shift, a tremor not of fear, but of an epic world-altering transformation that is on the horizon. My dearest Leo, there are moments in this grand adventure of life when your entire world will tremble, when the very foundations of the kingdom you have so carefully built will shake so profoundly that it feels as though everything is about to collapse. But I am here to tell you with every fiber of my being that what you are feeling is not an ending. Oh no, my glorious lion, this is a coronation. The universe is not tearing down your world. It is simply rearranging the stage, dimming the old lights, and preparing for the grand revelation of the true sovereign you were always meant to be. There will be tears, yes, but they will not be tears of loss. They will be tears of release, of homecoming, of finally letting the weight of a crown that has grown too heavy fall away, so you can step into the light that has always and will always belong to you. Now, before we embark on this truly monumental journey together, I want to invite you to become an active creator in this sacred space. If you are feeling that hum of anticipation, that call to step into your authentic power, let the universe know you are ready. Go down to the comments right now and declare with all the fire of your magnificent heart, everyone hides pain. What's the one thing that broke you the most? Let's fill this space with a roaring chorus of empowerment. And if you have not yet joined our beautiful Cosmic Wisdom family, please do me the honor of pressing that subscribe button and ringing the little bell. I want to ensure you never ever miss these cosmic updates that are designed to help you shine your absolute brightest. We are in this together, and our collective light is about to become blindingly beautiful. My dear Leo, you more than any other sign understand the nature of the stage. You have a divine gift for performance, for expression, for shining your light so that others may feel its warmth. But what happens when the role you've been playing no longer fits? What happens when the script you've been handed feels foreign and the applause you once craved now feels hollow? This is the moment you find yourself in now, a sacred threshold where you stand holding tightly to things that no longer nourish your royal soul. It could be a relationship that once felt like a grand romance, but has now become a cage, dimming your radiant light. It could be a career that placed you in the spotlight, but now demands a performance that drains your life force, leaving you exhausted when the curtain falls. Or perhaps it is a belief about who you are supposed to be, a heavy mantle of responsibility you placed upon your own shoulders that has now become an invisible chain, tethering your magnificent spirit to the ground. I know this feeling, this profound ache of misalignment deep within my own soul. In my own journey, there have been times I have clung to a certain identity, a certain way of being seen, simply because it was familiar. It was the role everyone knew me in, the one that got the standing ovation. I believed that if I let it go, if I walked off that well-lit stage, I would vanish into the darkness. I thought I would lose a part of myself. But then the universe, in its infinite wisdom, taught me a truth that shattered my world, only to rebuild it in gold. Letting go is not losing. For a Leo, letting go is the ultimate act of reclaiming your power. It is an abdication from a throne that was never truly yours to claim the one that has been waiting for you all along. When you release that old role, you not only free yourself to write a new, more authentic story, you also free the energy, the people, and the situations you've been holding, allowing everything to return to its own divine, sovereign path. There is a beautiful concept I hold close to my heart for the sun to truly rise in its full glory. It must first release the last vestiges of the night. It doesn't mourn the darkness. It embraces its own nature and sets the world ablaze with light. You, dear Leo, are the sun. To return to the full, unbridled expression of your true self, you must have the courage to release the shadows of who you once were. But to do this requires a specific kind of courage, the lion-hearted courage to face the truth that not every role is meant for a lifetime. In many spiritual traditions, it is understood that everything in our reality arises to teach us, and when the lesson is complete, it recedes. When something or someone leaves your orbit, they do not simply vanish. They complete their divine purpose in your story and continue their journey just as you must continue yours. The challenge is that we, especially you, with your loyal and generous heart, can sometimes forget this. We hold on, we cling, as if the presence of that person, that Job, that identity, is what defines our brilliance. But in truth, its departure is often the greatest blessing imaginable, a cosmic stage clearing that we often do not recognize in the moment. I want you to take a deep breath with me, beautiful Leo, and imagine this. You are a mighty king or queen, standing in the throne room of your own heart. In your hand, you hold an old ornate scepter. This scepter has served you well. It has represented your power and authority through many seasons and many battles. But now, you stand at the precipice of a new era for your kingdom, an era that requires a different kind of leadership, one that comes not from an external symbol of power, but from the radiant, unshakable power that emanates from within. If you keep clutching that old scepter, your hands are not free to rule with an open heart. The safety it once gave you has now become a weight. To be truly free, to lead your life into its golden age, you must have the courage to place that scepter on the throne, to let it go, and to open your hands to receive the true innate power you were born with. Letting go is the ultimate act of faith. It is a profound declaration of trust in the universe, a trust that it never takes away a gilded cage without revealing an infinite open sky. It's a trust that you are powerful enough to stand in your own light without props or a script. And it is a trust that you are worthy of a kingdom built on authenticity, not on obligation. I have seen it time and time again. I have witnessed magnificent souls walk away from relationships they thought were their entire world, only to tell me months later, with a light in their eyes I had never seen before, I have never felt so much like myself. I have met brilliant leaders who have left prestigious positions they dedicated their lives to, not because they failed, but because they realized the throne they were sitting on was no longer aligned with the truth of their heart. And then, as if by magic, a new path would illuminate a new kingdom, would call for its true sovereign, leading them on journeys far richer and more meaningful than anything they had ever dared to imagine. So I ask you now, my dear magnificent Leo, to look into the throne room of your heart. What are you holding on to? And ask yourself this with radical honesty. Am I holding this because it truly fuels my fire? Or because I am afraid of who I might be without it? The emptiness that follows letting go can feel terrifying, I know. For a Leo, an empty stage can feel like the end of the world. But it is in that very space, that sacred emptiness, that the seeds of your new empire are planted. If your hands are already full of the relics of your past, how can you possibly receive the new crown that life is longing to place upon your head? You might be thinking, but if I let go, I will lose a part of my story, a part of my identity. Remember this glorious one. You are not the roles you have played. You are not the applause you have received. You are not the kingdom you have built. You are the eternal, unquenchable sun that gives light to it all. Everything else will pass, but you, the purest, most radiant essence of you, will remain. And one day, sooner than you think, you will look back with a heart full of gratitude and see with absolute clarity that letting go of that old role was the greatest act of self-love you ever committed, because it gave you the chance to be reborn, to expand, and to live in glorious alignment with the sovereign soul you are becoming. If you are hearing this message, and a person, a situation, or an old version of yourself suddenly rises in your heart, perhaps that is the universe whispering no, roaring that the time has come. You don't have to take action this very second, but you can begin with the brave and noble act of being honest with yourself. Look at that bond, that role, that identity, and ask, does this still make my heart sing? If the answer is no, know that letting go is not an act of failure. It is the ultimate act of love. Now, my dear Leo, once you make that courageous choice to set down what is no longer meant for you, you will discover something miraculous. The space that is created is not empty at all. It is pregnant with cosmic potential. It is a sacred silence that begins to fill with strange and beautiful signals, subtle messages from the universe that only an awakened heart can truly recognize. This, my friend, is when the royal calling from within your true soul's purpose begins to rise. The very first thing you will feel is not loss, but a quiet expansion. It's not the hollow silence of an empty theater after the show is over. It is the majestic silence of the sky, just before dawn, serene, fresh, and pulsing with the promise of a new sun. It is in this newfound stillness, Leo, that the signs begin to appear. They are not always loud or dramatic. They are often gentle and delicate, like a golden ray of light finding its way through a stained glass window, landing directly upon you. It might be a sequence of numbers that begins to follow you like a loyal subject. You glance at the clock, and it's 11:11. You're driving, and the license plate in front of you is 111. You open a book to a random page, and your eyes fall on page 111. Or perhaps it is a recurring symbol. The lion, your own magnificent totem, suddenly starts appearing everywhere, in movies, on logos, in conversations. The universe is not being random. It is sending you a royal decree, a reminder of your own strength, courage, and innate nobility. Or perhaps the message arrives in a dream so vivid and majestic that when you awaken, your heart is still beating to its epic rhythm, and the images from it feel more real than your waking life. There are dreams that do not come to entertain, my dear Leo. They come to deliver a royal summons from your higher self. They are a private screening of the masterpiece your soul is ready to create. And sometimes, if you are silent enough to listen, that message will continue to speak to you throughout your day, guiding your choices and affirming your path. There are also times when the sign will arrive through the most unexpected channels. A passing conversation with a stranger where they say a sentence that seems to come out of nowhere. Yet it answers the very question you have been secretly asking the universe for weeks. It is as if The cosmos has borrowed another's voice to deliver a direct message to you, its beloved royalty. In many ancient teachings, it is said that when the mind is still, we begin to hear the music of the spheres. That music does not come from the outside. It resonates from deep within, from that sacred chamber of the heart, where your timeless wisdom and fiery intuition meet. The challenge, especially for a vibrant and active Leo, is that we often live surrounded by the noise of the world, the demands for our attention, the roar of the crowd. That divine music becomes buried. Only when you dare to step away from the familiar chaos, when you release the weight of the old performance, can you finally hear the symphony of your own soul clearly. Your intuition, dear Leo, is not a gentle whisper. It is a roaring fire in your belly. It is an ancient golden compass that doesn't just point the way, it illuminates the path ahead. In life, maps can become outdated, paths can be blocked, but you do not need a map when your own heart has become a lighthouse. Think back, glorious one. How many times have you just known what you needed to do even before you had any logical proof? How many times have you sensed an opportunity or a betrayal long before it materialized? How many times have you said to yourself, I don't know how to explain it, but I know in my bones that this is the right move. And then everything unfolded exactly as your heart felt it would. That is not a coincidence. That is the call from your inner sovereign working tirelessly to lead you back to your throne. The truly beautiful thing is, the universe is persistent in its love for you. It will send the message again and again, like a devoted courtier repeating it in different forms through different channels until you finally turn your magnificent head and pay attention. I truly believe that the art of living a majestic life is learning how to notice these royal signposts, because once you begin to see them, you understand with every cell of your being that you are never, ever alone on your path. There is a vast, benevolent intelligence walking alongside you, placing golden markers along the way, so that you will not lose your way back to yourself. Perhaps even now, as you listen to these words, a memory or an image has just blazed across the screen of your mind. Maybe it's a recent dream, a sequence of numbers you keep encountering, a recurring song, or a phrase someone has just spoken. If it has surfaced, do not brush it aside as mere fancy. That is a dispatch from your soul. Write it down, hold it in your heart, watch where it leads you. The call from within is not always easy to hear. Sometimes it is muffled by the voices of ego, of fear, of the expectations of others, of old habits. But when you begin to trust it with your whole magnificent fiery heart, you will find yourself embarking on journeys you never dared to imagine before. And a true miracle will happen. You will realize that this calling does not lead you to some strange new land. It leads you home to the truest, most radiant, and most powerful version of yourself, where you don't have to pretend, you don't have to force your way through, and where every step feels as confident and purposeful as a lion striding through its own kingdom. And as you trust these signals, a glorious rebirth, a coronation within, will quietly begin. When you start to believe in these signs, my dear Leo, a miracle of profound magnificence will unfold in your life. It is not always a sudden burst of fireworks, a single, brilliant moment of triumph. It is often a quiet, steady, and unstoppable force, like the way the sun climbs the sky little by little until it illuminates the entire world. You will feel a new creative fire flowing through your veins, warm, pure, and vitalizing, an energy you may have long forgotten you possessed. I used to think rebirth meant starting over from scratch, burning the old kingdom to the ground, and building a new one from the ashes. But over the years, I've come to understand that rebirth, especially for a soul as rich and storied as a Leo's, is not about erasing everything. It is about continuing the journey with a lighter heart and a brighter crown. Lighter because you have finally laid down the burdens and expectations that no longer belong to you. Brighter because you are no longer bound by the fear of not being enough. And more powerful because you now understand that every challenge you have endured, every wound to your pride was actually a doorway to a more authentic, heart-centered power. That incredible pride you carry, the very thing that may have been wounded in the past, the thing you might have once seen as a weakness, it is in truth one of your greatest gifts. When aligned with your heart, your pride is not ego. It is profound self-respect. It is the innate knowing of your own worth. Your need for the spotlight is not vanity. It is the soul's desire to share its unique light, to warm and inspire others. It is like the sun itself, which doesn't shine to be seen but shines because that is its glorious, undeniable nature. There will be moments when you feel like a great ship that has just left the harbor. That small, familiar dock where you once anchored kept you safe for many seasons. But you, my magnificent Leo, were not born to remain at one small dock forever. The vast open sea is calling your name, and that sea represents not just new opportunities and new horizons, but the most authentic, untamed, and sovereign part of yourself calling you home. In those moments of uncertainty, I often remember the power of creation itself. The universe does not take away a comfortable shore to leave you stranded. It takes it away to reveal the grand, glorious ocean you were always meant to command. I want you to imagine this one morning you wake up and you realize you are no longer replaying yesterday's failures or worrying about tomorrow's performance. You open the window, the sunlight pours in, and you feel a warmth not only on your skin, but radiating from within your soul. Your kingdom may still be imperfect, the path ahead not entirely clear, but you know with a strange and unshakable certainty that you are heading in the right direction. The coronation does not require you to have all the answers. It only asks that you believe in your next courageous step. Even if it is a small one, it is a step that carries you closer to your throne. You may not realize it yet, but every tear you have shed over a bruised ego, every sleepless night you have spent questioning your worth, every whispered prayer for strength has been rain-watering the seed of your true sovereignty. And now that seed is reaching for the sun, breathing, waiting for the day, it will bloom into the most magnificent version of you. If you could choose one part of yourself to be reborn today, a part of you to revive, to renew, to love more fiercely, what would it be? It could be a creative dream you folded away because you thought it wasn't practical. It could be the playful, joyful part of yourself you silenced to be taken more seriously. Let that question flow with you. When the answer comes, it will feel like a sunrise in your heart, unmistakable, warm, and full of promise. Your power of rebirth, dear Leo, does not lie in becoming someone entirely different. It lies in becoming more yourself, more wholly, more clearly, and more freely. Just as when the sun rises, the sky does not disappear. It is simply set ablaze, revealing the breathtaking beauty that was always there. And as you step into this new authentic light, the true gifts of the universe will begin to reveal themselves. Abundance will no longer be something you chase. It will be a natural result of you living in alignment with your radiant truth. Fulfillment will not come from external validation, but from the deep, soul-satisfying joy of living in harmony with your heart's truest purpose. The most beautiful moment on this journey is not when we have everything we thought we wanted, but when we realize we are and have always been enough. Enough courage to lead our own lives. Enough love to keep our hearts open and generous. Enough creative fire to shape our own reality. And enough gratitude to treasure the magnificent kingdom that is our life in this very moment. I believe with all my heart that the universe is smiling upon you, Leo. It has always held this vision for you, waiting for the day you were ready to claim it with courage. From the depths of my heart, I thank you for being here, for listening, and for allowing your magnificent heart to open to this message. Your presence, your light is a gift beyond measure. I wish for you and for every soul listening a new chapter filled with purpose, a mind as clear as a sunny day, and an unshakable trust that the best things are not just on their way to you, they are being created by you. May you always be held in the loving embrace of the universe, and may you always remember the magnificent sovereign you truly are. What part of this message resonated most deeply with your lion heart? What old crown are you ready to let go of to make way for the new? Share your thoughts, your insights, and your beautiful journey in the comments section below. I love connecting with each and every one of you, and I believe that when we share our stories, our collective roar becomes a force for incredible transformation in the world. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Cosmic Wisdom to continue this journey with us. We have so much more magic and guidance to share with you in the weeks to come. You can tap or click on one of the videos you see on your screen now to dive even deeper into your limitless Leo potential. Remember, you are the creator of your reality, the sun of your own universe, and you are fully capable of achieving all of your wildest, most glorious dreams. Thank you for being here. Shine on.